96.7 FM WTOB. You're listening to The Wealth Guardians with Doug Ray, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. I am your host, not Doug Ray. This is Brice Payne, and I am alone in the studio this week because Doug and Garrett both have abandoned me for a family reunion out in Park City, Utah for this week. So it is just me at the helm here, and we're going to see if I can run the boards and sit in the talent chair and do all the editing and splicing ourselves. Just me and you in the studio today. Folks, thank you for joining us. And today we are going to be talking about what it is we offer. Three things we're going to talk about here in the first segment: who we are as the Wealth Guardians, what a financial planner is and does, and three, what you might be doing that could be detrimental to your retirement by not having a financial planner on your side. That is a lot to go over in one segment, so let's go ahead and get to that. But before I do that, you might have noticed that we weren't on the air last week, and there was generally a specific reason for that. I got married last week. And went out to Colorado Springs with my girlfriend slash fiance of the last 12 years, Belle. And we got hitched up in the mountains of Colorado. And I want to tell you, the whole trip went off, I don't want to say without a hitch, but we got to the ceremony and got through the ceremony perfectly, just as it should have been. But getting to that point led me to want to write a show called Do You Have a Plan B? And do you need a plan B? And so that might be a show for a later date. But let me tell you, we left Greensboro. We had we were scheduled to have a 3-hour layover in Dallas, which was great. You would rather have a 3-hour layover than a 10-minute layover in Dallas before we got to Colorado Springs. And of course, our flight out of Greensboro had a 3-hour delay due to weather. And we got to Dallas. By the time we landed, our connecting flight in Dallas was already boarding. Before we even landed, I was looking at my watch, and we had to run from Terminal E to Terminal B at as fast as we could with our rolling luggage and whatnot. By the time we got to our gate, they were calling us, last call, Brice and Belle. It's like, no, we're here. And they said, you've got to run down the breezeway, whatever that's called now, the jetway. You've got to run down there now. They're already closing the door to the plane. Well, we managed to duck in under the closing door and sat down just in time. I mean, that's a record. And then, of course, we realized, wait a minute, we know full well that our luggage did not just make this connecting flight. In comes plan B, right? When do you need a plan B? So we're out to get married. What is on your luggage when you're going somewhere to get married? Well, it's your wedding outfits. So when we got into Colorado Springs, of course, neither of our luggage were there. The next morning we woke up, her luggage had gotten in. Mine hadn't, but hers had gotten in. And so thinking, of course, well, if either of our luggage has to still be missing, I would rather it be mine than Belle's. So I went and grabbed that one. And we had to head up the mountain at that point because we're getting married not in Colorado Springs, but up in the boondocks of the Colorado Mountains. There's no phone service up there. There's no internet service up where we're at. So I had to do everything I could to get the information to American Airlines of where we were at and how important it was that they track down our luggage, my luggage, before Tuesday, the actual date. Well, we're getting close now. It's Tuesday. Luggage hasn't shown up yet. About 1 hour before the photographer's set to arrive, I've gone into the best I can with Plan B, trying to find something that I can wear that would make sense as a substitute for my wedding outfit. And up the hill rolls a GMC with a smiling woman in it who is contracted out by AA. And she rolls down the window and says, "Did I make it in time?" And I've got an astonished look on my face. And I said, "Oh, tell me you've got luggage in the car." She goes, "Yep." I said, "Do you know what's going on here today?" She goes, "I did. I read the notes. That's why you're my first stop today." So I want to thank American Airlines. It wasn't your fault that the luggage was lost in the first place, but you guys did what you could to get it to me in time so that my wife and I could get married just as we had planned. So having said all that, there's going to be a show at some point down the road called Retirement Planning Plan B. Do you have a plan B? Do you even have a plan A? And if so, do you need a plan B? So, all right, anyway, that's just the quick little story there. I only get married once or twice in life, so I thought I'd share that with you. Of course, as you know, something else that we do on our show here every week, we're honored to thank our military and our first responders and their families for their sacrifice in serving our community and making our safety and freedom their mission. And each week we want to salute a specific individual. And if you happen to know someone that we should be recognizing here on the show, please email our team at salute@The Wealth Guardians, and we will be in touch. And this week, we'd like to introduce Ailey Tarikas. Ailey Tarikas serves in the Navy. Ailey has been active for 6.5 years. Her first station was in Norfolk, Virginia as an engineman, working on and with diesel engines during that time. Now, she is stationed in Panama City, Florida, and this will be her last assignment until she leaves the service in August of 2023. But she will be serving as the wife of a career sailor, Caleb. And Ailey is the daughter of client Heno Tarikas. So Ailey, thank you for your service. We want to honor you here with the Wealth Guardians Service Salute. Thank you for all that you have done and continue to do in serving our country. So thank you for that. And now let's move on to the rest of the show. In the first segment of today's show, I'm going to be addressing specifically those of you out there who've listened to us before, maybe many times over the last few years, and you've thought at some point, you know what, I need to call these guys and sit down with them. But you've never managed to find the right time to call us. And by the way, if you do want to call us, our phone number is 336-391-3409. Now, if who I just described sounds like you, then this first segment today is just for you. And what we're going to talk about, as I said, we're going to talk about who we are, what a financial planner is and does. That's the first one, who we are. Number 2, what a financial planner is and does. And number 3, what you might be doing that could be detrimental to your retirement by not having a financial planner on your side. And in the second segment today, after the break, we're going to do a deep description of our no-cost, no-obligation retirement planning process so you can have a clear idea of all that you stand to gain and learn about your retirement picture if you did indeed sit down with us. And by the way, the number again to call to schedule time to sit down with Doug, Garrett, or myself is 336-391-3409. Okay, so let's get to it. The first of our 3 topics today is, who are we? Who are the Wealth Guardians? All right, well, that's a fair question. Well, we've been in business 22 years. We are based in Clemens. We serve the Triad area. We also serve the Charlotte area. We have an A+ rating with the BBB, Better Business Bureau. We are financial planners. We are retirement specialists. We are certified with the National Social Security Association. We are retirement income certified professionals. And perhaps most importantly, we are fiduciaries. And we can be reached at, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you haven't picked up a pen to write down the phone number yet, you can do that now. 336-391-3409. I myself, I've been in the field for 11 years, and Doug has been doing this for 32 years. So we have a bit of experience at what we do. Okay, so real brief there. That was the first topic. Who are the Wealth Guardians? Now we've gotten that under the way. Let's get into our second topic. What is a financial planner, and what does a financial planner do? All right, well, let's see how succinctly I can answer this. A financial planner helps coordinate all things money for a household. That means income, spending strategies, tax mitigation strategies, Social Security filing, pension option strategies, estate planning strategies, defining legacy goals, identifying long-term care and insurance needs, identifying risk tolerance. The list goes on. Now, there is a big list of topics that a financial planner helps their clients with, but they all focus around money. And a financial planner objective is to identify your financial goals and needs, and then to coordinate your entire financial picture so that those goals and needs are being met as best as possible for both the short term and the long term. So, take a break there for a second. Take a breather. That's about as succinctly as I can sum it up what a financial planner does and what we at the Wealth Guardians do for our clients. And what we can do for you if you were to call us, again, at our phone number, 336 866-391-3409. All right, so now we're going to move on to our third topic or question. What you might be doing that could be detrimental to your retirement by not having a financial planner on your side. Okay? You could be taking on too much risk in your portfolio, setting yourself up for too big of a portfolio hit in retirement that would, of course, force you to suddenly change your retirement plans or goals. B, conversely, you could be way too conservative with your investments and not getting a reasonable return and thus losing buying power on your investments, especially in high inflation cycles like we've got now. C, you could be paying too much in taxes. And so going into that one, let's just ask a couple questions here. Do you know what tax bracket you're going to fall in this year? You're not sure? Okay. Do you know what your effective tax rate will be in 2023? Not sure? All right. Do you know if you should be contributing to a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k this year if you want the best distribution options available to you 10 years from now? You're not sure? Okay. Do you know what percentage of your Social Security will be taxed if you file for Social Security at your full retirement age? Not sure about that one? Okay. Do you know what investments you could sell this year from your non-qualified accounts to take advantage of capital gain loss write-offs? You might know that one. Okay, good. But do you know if you should really do that or not? Yeah, that one you might not know. Do you know how to keep your required minimum distributions from being taxable? Now, if any of those questions had you stumped, then you want a financial planner on your side. And I've got a phone number for a financial planner for you. It's 336-391-3409. We could go on. D, you could be paying too much in fees. E, you could be choosing the wrong pension option, or F, choosing the wrong Social Security filing option. All of those things are things that you could be doing wrong if you didn't have a financial planner on your side. Well, we do want you to have a financial planner on your side, so give us a call, 336-391-3409. We'd be happy to sit down with you. But now, you know what? Normally at this time, we're about to go into break, and normally at this time we have our trivia question. We see if we can stump Doug or Garrett. Well, there's nobody here in the studio with me to stump, so I'm going to see if I can stump you. Are you ready? All right, let's do it. See if we can stump you. This famous American icon passed away on July 27th, 2003. He was an actor, author, singer, comedian, and producer. He was born Leslie Towns Hope in 1903 in London, England. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the Air Force Order of the Sword, amongst many other military awards. And he spent 48 Christmases with American troops overseas. Who are we talking about? All right, we're going to get you the answer on the other side of the break. Please stick around. This is Brice Payne. With me is nobody in the studio. The show is The Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And this is 96.7 FM WTOB. 96.7 FM WTOB. You're listening to The Wealth Guardians with Doug Ray, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. I'm Brice Payne, along not with Doug Ray, but along with an empty chair this week because Doug and Garrett both have hightailed it to Park City, Utah for a family reunion, leaving me in the studio by myself. So thank you for sticking around through the break. Today we are going to be doing a deep dive into what our retirement planning process looks like for you if you were to pick up the phone and give us a call. Now, we did do the trivia question on the front side of the break, and I'm going to see if I stumped you here in just a moment. But before that, I've got another question for you. Are you looking forward to retirement? Are you planning on retiring at some point? Do you want to confirm that all the decisions that you're making in planning for that retirement are actually the best decisions that you could be making? If you answered yes to those questions, then I've got good news for you, like I do absolutely every week here on the show. We have a no-cost, no-obligation review process, second opinion process of your current portfolio when you sit down with us so you can see how we can help you retire the job while keeping the paycheck. It's that easy, but you do got to pick up the phone and call us and schedule. And that phone number is 336-391-3409. 3409. That's 336-391-3409. Doug, Garrett, or myself would love to sit down with you and see what help and services we can provide in helping you plan for your retirement. All right, now having said that, it is time for the trivia question and answer. So before we went into the break, here was the question. This famous American icon passed away on July 27th, 2003. He was an actor, author, singer, comedian, and producer. He was born Leslie Towns Hope in 1903 in London, England. He was awarded many, many different honors, awards, medals here in the U.S. and in his home country of England. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Air Force Order of the Sword, numerous others. And he had spent 48 Christmases with American troops overseas. So who are we talking about? All right, well, Leslie Towns Hope is none other than the legendary Bob Hope. And, the older we get, the more we forget about him. But boy, I remember watching his specials and just always being impressed seeing him with the troops. Almost, he's either with the troops or with the golf club or both. And so it was on July 27, 2003 that he passed away. So we're doing a little tip of our hat to Bob Hope, who might not have put on the uniform per se, but he certainly did everything he could for those who were in uniform. And one of my favorite quotes of his is, "A bank is a place that will lend you money if you can prove that you don't need it." All right. So Bob Hope, thinking of you on this day here. And if you got that trivia question, good job to you as well out there. All right, so now let's dive into the meat and potatoes of our second segment here. I want to talk to you about our meeting process. When you give us a call, and again, the phone number is 336-391-3409, we're going to set a time for you to come in and sit down with us in our offices here in Clemens and go over all things financial with you. And this planning process is designed to see what help and services we can provide you in making sure that everything is aligned as it should be for your retirement plans. And this works whether you already have a financial planner, an investment advisor, a broker, maybe you're your own advisor. You're all three of those. Maybe you're your CPA and your accountant at the same time. Maybe you do all of that. But you're kind of thinking to yourself now, I don't know that I want to keep trying to wear all these hats when it gets more and more important that I'm doing everything right. Well, that's where we come into it. And whether you've already got a financial advisor and you want a second opinion, or you've never had one before, this speaks to you. So our first appointment, this is generally a 4-meeting process. The first appointment is called the discovery meeting. And what we're doing in the discovery meeting is we're asking you questions. We are asking everything that we need to know to perform our fiduciary obligations. We want to understand your retirement goals, your legacy goals, your risk tolerance, your current assets, your income, your Social Security options, your pension options, your general health and life expectancy, your insurance needs, what insurance you already have, your expenses now and your expenses in retirement, because those are probably going to be different. We want to see your last year's tax filings. We basically want to see all things financial that we can have a good understanding of how the puzzle pieces are going to fit together. All right, so that meeting usually takes about an hour, hour and a half. Then in our second appointment, we are going to have run between the first and second a number of different analyses, and we're going to start showing you those analyses. So in the second meeting, we call this the eye-opening meeting. We're going to do a Social Security optimization report. There's a lot of different ways to file for Social Security. It's one of the main legs of your income stool. In retirement, you want to make sure that you're filing for Social Security the correct way. So our report helps you understand the different ways you have to file for Social Security and what the best way or the most optimized way might be for you. Then we're going to do a risk tolerance questionnaire for you. That is one of my favorite parts of the whole process, is seeing people struggle through this questionnaire, because these are not easy questions. Maybe the first one or two are easy, but then that starts narrowing down and it's going to ask you really challenging questions. So that's helps us understand what your risk tolerance is. What risk do you feel comfortable taking? What risks are out of bounds for you taking as far as financial risk, potential losses that you could endure? Then we're going to compare that score to a risk report that we ran on your current portfolio. Ideally, you'd want to see those two numbers match up, right? If you got a 30 on your risk tolerance, you'd want a 30 on your risk score. but they don't usually sync up like that. In fact, most all of the time they don't. So we're going to run a risk report as well and see if there's anything that needs to be realigned there. We're going to do a fund analysis for you. We're going to do a fee analysis for you. The mutual funds that you're in, we're going to compare those to the mutual, all of the peers of your mutual funds and see if you're in the best mutual funds for your situation. We're going to take a look at your fees. We spend a lot of money on a particular software called Y Charts that breaks down all the fees that your current portfolio is going through. It's not inexpensive, but we are one of the advisors out there that feels that this is a worthy investment so that you can see all the fees that your portfolio is having you succumb to. So we're going to do the fee analysis. And then we're going to lead into the third appointment. So that second appointment we call the eye-opening appointment. Then it comes time about a week later for our third appointment. This is the retirement planning appointment. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our retirement analyzer software, and we're going to show you how retirement plays out for you under two scenarios. One, if you didn't make any changes to your portfolio, how does retirement play out for you? Based on your expenses and your sources of income and what you've already saved, do you run out of money by age 75, or do you have $10 million by age 80? Generally, you don't want either of those scenarios, right? You don't want to run out of money, obviously, but you don't want to be accumulating too much money either. You'd rather be enjoying retirement. So we're going to help you see how retirement plays out for you if you didn't make any changes to your portfolio. And then we're going to run that scenario again based on our recommendations. And we're going to usually improve the scenario, otherwise we wouldn't make it recommendations. And then we're going to do a deep dive into what our recommendations are. Every investment portfolio or even individual investment has four characteristics to it: risk, growth potential, fees or cost, and liquidity. Well, we want to align those up the best that we can. We want to balance those up the best that we can so that you're not taking too much risk, that you have a decent amount of growth potential, that you're not paying too much in fees or costs for your investments, and that you've got an ample amount of liquidity in your investments. And then we're going to go back after we've done a deep dive with you into what our recommendations are. We're going to run the same fee report and risk report that we ran in the second meeting. We did that on your current portfolio. Now we're going to do it on our recommendations. So you've got a side-by-side comparison there. We're not trying to pull any punches. We're showing you everything that you need to know right up front. What are the fees you're paying on your current portfolio? What are the fees based on our portfolio? What's the risk you're taking on your current portfolio? What's the risk score on our portfolio? Side-by-side analysis. And then in the fourth meeting, you're going to get a binder with about 11 reports in it. The reports that we did in the second, third, and the concluding reports in the fourth meeting. You all get that in a binder. No cost, no obligation, so that you can read this to your heart's content. And in the end, if you decide, hey, these guys make sense. I like their recommendations. I like them. We seem to be a good fit. I want to go ahead and implement this plan. Then we can go ahead and help you implement it. But up to that point, there is no cost. There is no obligation for this whole 4-meeting process other than your time of coming in and sitting down with us. Whew, that's it. In a nutshell, that is what our 4-meeting process is. If that sounds like it's worth the no cost to you to come in and sit down with us, then please give us a call, 336-391-3409. We'd love to sit down with you and see if we can provide any services and help for you. Another reason you'd want to give that number a call, 336-391-3409, is because we've got yet another seminar coming up to the general public. This time it's our identity theft seminar, and it's coming up on Thursday, August 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the historic Broyhill Auditorium at 3540 Clemens Road. Reservations are required, and you can make those reservations at 336-391-3409 or reach out to us via our website, thewealthguardians.com, and hit on the events tab. What we're going to be talking about here is what is identity theft, how does it occur, and how common is it, the 5 most common areas of identity theft, and the best practices to reduce your personal risk for your business. Learn how the Wealth Guardians can help you protect your retirement while you're protecting your identity. And that's it, folks. Thank you. We made it through, just you and me, nobody else in the chairs here in the studio this morning, just you and me. Thank you for sticking around with me. I hope you have a great weekend. This is Brice Payne. With me is nobody in the studio. The show is the Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And this is 96.7 FM WTOB.